Yo, 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 what's up? Frank Bay in the building. Seems like a minute. We're back to talk about this Jake Paul news. Is it news or is it just another flash in the pan? You know, the main thing I'm seeing is was it a real fight? A lot of people, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, a lot of people are wondering if it was real. Was it a real fight? Salute T Swoof. He says, Shake and bake Jake got no stake in boxing. That's a bar. Salute Bones. What up, man? You know how we do it. Riding the Jake Paul wave, the Jake Paul train. So, did everybody watch the fight? Were you entertained? That's the question. Was it entertaining? It was a shit fight, is what I'm seeing most people say. It was a real shit fight. The guy was running for his life. Joshua was going easy on Paul. That's what people are saying. Okay, my mic is tripping now, man. Damn. Shit can never get right. But yeah, how's the mic? Okay. Was it a real fight? Do you guys think it was a real fight? A lot of people do not think it was a real fight. I don't know. I'm split, man. I really can't say it was a real fight because he ran. They were arguing on Salute BDA. I was listening to BDA last night. Go like and subscribe to the homie. And there's two sides, and what I'm seeing on social media, right? Bones, I'm riding with Brandon Pedro Mosquito wave now that he won the WC Grand Prix. Yeah, I seen that. I ain't really followed it too much. Joshua was pulling his punches in the first 5 rounds. That's what people are arguing. Was he pulling his punches or was Jake Paul running? They gave Jake Paulina a huge ass ring. It was 24 by 24 or 22 by 22. It was a big ass ring, right? But that's what they're saying is that they gave him a big ass ring and then he was just running, grabbing, holding. That's pretty much a Davina Hanky fight, right? Ain't that pretty much a Davina Hanky fight? Is running, grabbing, and holding. And they call that a masterclass. But it was a shit fight, right? It was a complete shit fight. That's all I know. There was nothing really boxing about it. The ring looked 60 by 60. Yeah. I mean, it would. What Shakira Twitterson did was extremely worse than what Jake Paul did. Look, man, that guy had no business in the ring, right? Well, was it more of Anthony Joshua not being as good as they say? I know Anthony Joshua has a lot of fans. I've never really been a fan of his, but I always thought he was a bit overrated. He got taken to school by Alexander Usyk, knocked out by Dubois. He's good. I mean, he's good for his time in his era, in a kind of a lukewarm, mediocre era. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, those are the 3 big names of this era. Where does Anthony Joshua stand with them? They're saying that Fury and AJ are gonna fight, and that's a fight that they should already be on the 3rd or 4th fight by now. That's the thing with boxing is they say that these guys don't fight, and these guys have made a ton of money not fighting each other. Edwin De Los Santos was going easy on Shakira. Well, Edwin De Los Santos, what was he supposed to do? He kept trying to catch him. He tried to catch the guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. You'd have to understand. I'm not saying that you have to box to know, but if you go in the ring with somebody, no matter their skill set, right? If a guy chooses to grab, hold, and run and tackle you, every time you get close, it's gonna be pretty hard to box him. Boxing, it takes 2 to tango. You know what I'm saying? It really does. It takes 2. So, who's at fault here is really the question. Jay Prince threatened De Los Santos not to come to win against Shakur. More DC, thank you. Hit the like. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. So which side are we on? Which side are you guys on? Was it a real fight and that's why Jake Paul ran? Or was it a fake fight and Anthony Joshua pulled his punches? Or he could have got him out there he could have got him out of there easily and earlier. That's really the question. Was it a real fight? I'm gonna say no. It wasn't a legit world class heavyweight fight. I think it was a circus act. It was a show. Jake Paul chose to run. Anthony Joshua, he probably could have got him out of there earlier. Like, all these things can be true. It could have been a real fight, but Anthony Joshua took it easy on him. That doesn't mean it's fake or fixed. Does that make sense to you? Like, everything could be true in this situation. It was real. It was fake. Most elite level American boxing are fake. I don't know. I mean, at the lower level, that's what Jake Paul was kind of always saying. He said, look, man, you guys are saying I'm fighting trash fighters, but that's what most fighters build their record on, as cans. Look at Edgar Berlanga, look at Davina Hanke. Their first 20 fights are against, taxi cab drivers in Mexico. That's just how boxing traditionally has gone. And Jake Paul was like, look, I'm not going to do that. I have the money. I have the backing. I can get any fight I want. But this is my question. Is the Jake Paul era over? Because I think this was an era. I think he has a lot of pull, a lot of juice. Everybody was calling him out. That's the thing too. He said, all these old ex-retired fighters are calling me out because they want a payday. You know what I'm saying? Salute punch drunk boxing. But he's out there, saying his usual nonsense about, Canelo fucked up. He should have took this payday. Because remember, before Turki Al-Sheikh, before Canelo signed with Turki Al-Sheikh, he was going to fight Jake Paul. If you guys don't remember, go back in the summer. It was a done deal. That's what Jake Paul says, is that it was a done deal. Canelo Alvarez was Jake beats Canelo. Diaper dandy. You think so? Or are you just having a little fun? Jake Paul, Canelo dodged the bullet. Wow. A lot of Canelo hate. Does Terrence Crawford beat? So you think Jake beats Terrence Crawford too? Because Terrence, it might be Canelo would knock him out. He might knock him out more vicious. A body shot from Canelo might really seriously hurt the guy. I think Fedora, Muratov, and Ortiz could compete at 168. Yeah, I mean, against Canelo Alvarez, it really depends on the size and the manner of the fighter that they're fighting. David Benavidez at 168 was a weight bully. He goes up to 200 pounds. Canelo, he's a smaller guy. These are the things that we have to understand about the sport of boxing. If these guys are shrinking down. So, does Terrence Crawford, how does he handle Jakey Paulina? Does he just wipe the floor with Jakey Paul? You think Janibek would destroy Bud? Destroy? I think it'd be a good fight. It's hard to say. Look, I don't know. Those are all quality. Janibek is a quality fighter. But we'll never know. Now, after that, he's never going to get a shot. But I don't think that fight was ever reality. There was no way Terrence Crawford was going to come back. He hasn't fought. He's waited over a year to come back ever since 2020. And there's a reason why. He needs a good cycle, allegedly. That's the facts. I think that was just a rumor, a ploy to get Canelo Alvarez out of the woodworks. Fedora beats Shiraz at 168. I don't know. That remains to be seen. We'd have to wait and see on that one. But was it the Jake Paul era? Is the Jake Paul era over? I think it's over. I can't see him coming back. He'll be out at least a year and a half. So his return, he'll be all out all of 2026, most of 2027. So he won't come back until late 2027 or 28. We'll already be looking at a new president. Boxing will change. Who is Jake Paul going to come back against? Is he going to go back to fighting scrubs? It's over. It's over. The Jake Paul era is over. People gave him credit. I hear people saying we need to give Jake Paul respect. I don't think you can get respect fighting like that. They say, he had guts to get in the ring. Jake Paul will retire. Yeah, because he's gonna be. He got his jaw broken, wired shut. Supposedly, I don't know. All this shit is WWE fake, you know. So, the reality is he'll be out until 2027. When is anybody gonna care when he comes back in 2027? I don't think so. People will have moved on. He'll stay in the limelight kind of for a little bit because he has women boxers, but nobody cares about women's boxing. I'm watching this Misfits and nobody cares about these things. I mean, a handful of people do with streaming and Kick and Twitch and these streaming platforms. But for the most part, nobody takes it seriously. Nobody really cares. It doesn't have any lasting impression. It's all about what's next, right? There's no substance. It's fast food for people that just want a quick entertainment fix. You know what I'm saying? The sport of boxing, you really have to follow it, right? We're all, I consider, I guess, hardcores, right? The worst thing you can say is someone's a casual. Hit the like. Jake Paul is fighting MMA fighter next. But that's what I'm saying. Does anybody care? Is it over? Is the era over? It's been about 3 or 4 years, right? That Jake Paul, if he fights, he steals the headlines, right? It's been a big deal. And this was probably the biggest deal yet, right? It was Tank Davis, Canelo Alvarez, and then he fights Anthony Joshua. And the fight itself wasn't memorable. All you're going to see is him falling and running and grabbing and tackling. It wasn't boxing. John Jones versus Jake Paul sells. Now, maybe, that's a good point too, though. But it won't be for like 2 years. That's what I'm saying, is the time will have passed and moved on. Nobody's going to care anymore in 2 years, man. You have to stay relevant. You have to stay in the limelight. This is, the world that we live in. We live in a 24/7 social media era, right? So the news cycle is constantly moving. We already forgot about Snack for retiring. That's what I said. Nobody cares. Canelo Alvarez will be out of a year and nobody's talking about Canelo anymore. That's just how it is. It's not, this is not 10 years ago. It's not 20 years ago. It's not 50, 40 years ago where, things stayed in the headlines. People followed the news. People actually watched and read the news. They read magazines. There were publications. There were media platforms. You could turn on your local television and the news was the news. Mainstream was mainstream. But now in this new social media era, you got Kick streamers. There's just so many platforms that it's impossible to keep up and stay relevant. Does anybody even remember the Kardashians? Are they even a thing anymore? Remember, it was the Kardashians 24/7. They had their own show and everything. And that's all anybody ever talked about. The Kardashians. And now they're pushed to the side. They're irrelevant. It's hard to stay relevant. You have to constantly keep doing crazier and crazier things. But that's the problem too, is that, everybody's competing. And if everybody's doing crazy things, Chad, salute. Thank you, Ralph. I'm real. Hit the like. Everybody's doing crazier and crazier things. So then nobody's really special anymore. And that's really the problem, right? But, which side are you guys on? Frank, Jake will be back. When though? In 2 years? That's what I'm saying. He won't be back for 2 years. That's the problem. It's not, you guys. He broke his jaw in 2 places. He got the titanium. He got restructured. He'll be back at least 2 years. Daniel King and Turkey going to threaten. You got some wild ideas. Probably late next year, maybe. But that's what I'm saying, bro. We live in a different world. 2027 nobody's gonna care. Nobody's even going to remember this fight. Maybe if the fight was even remotely competitive, maybe. No, a little over a year. He said he's taking time off. To me, that means he's done. And yeah, but I don't think it will be to this level. You know what I'm saying? Jake is coming back in the summer next year. Not even. There's no way. Okay, let's make a bet then. Jake is good at marketing. He will make him. Okay. Okay, I'll give you guys that. I'm just giving you my opinion. My opinion is that I think he won't come back for at least 2 years. That's what I'm looking at, the landscape, kind of how things move. Uh Maybe had he not broken his jaw, maybe. But either way, I think he's gonna take like at least a year off, and then is anybody gonna care? Like, who are you gonna fight coming back? It'll be a significant drop off from Anthony Joshua. And at cruiserweight, that's what he was saying. I'm gonna fight at cruiserweight, but at cruiserweight, there's no names there. There's nobody you can really promote against. Somebody said John Jones. Yeah, something like that. John Jones, a relevant UFC, even Conor McGregor, maybe Canelo still. Maybe those type of things. But even Canelo down the road, man. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with Canelo Alvarez down the road? And Ngannou, okay, maybe, but is anybody gonna know who Ngannou is in a couple years? Doesn't he have to do something? That's my thing, man. It's just that even this fight, it had hype, but I don't know if it had the hype that people expected. The crowd, it looked like it was filled, but I heard that there was tickets for like $30. Why you got that image of Bud like that? Oh, that was because it was for something else about him, his retirement. I was gonna do a live about that, but I was not able to. But that's how I will forever remember Snackford is eking out a win against Madrimov, who I thought deserved a draw. But that's neither here nor there. Now, that's what I would like to see. Terrence Snackford versus Jake Paul. But Snackford will definitely be retired in 2 years, right? Your boy Picasso next week. Yeah, I know that, but does anybody care? And you guys, I guess I sound like a hater, but no, seriously, because I guess it's a pay-per-view, and it's gonna be Japan time. They're gonna do it at like 1 or 2 in the morning. That whole card on pay-per-view. It's like, bro, I don't think Americans on our side of the globe are going to pay to stay up that late. Like, you have to do it where if you want Americans to buy, they give us the opportunity. No, I heard differently. Look it up and let me know. But I seen is knocking out Inui is knocking out the Mexican. Is he? Picasso's strong and tough, man. He's a better version of Cardenas. We seen Cardenas give Inui hell, right? And Picasso, in my opinion, is better than that guy. So I don't think it'll be easy. And it depends with Inui. Is he gonna box like he did against Akhmadaliev, or is he gonna buzzsaw Trader? Oh, you guys are okay. Is he gonna buzzsaw through Picasso? I don't think Picasso's strong. He's athletic. He's just inexperienced. He's very inexperienced, and Picasso, he has, he's kind of stuck in between a couple modes. He doesn't know if he wants to box. He can box. He can really box, but then he wants to. You checked it's Saudi, so is it gonna be our time though? I thought it was. I've heard two different things then. So what is it in the morning then? I don't support all Mexican fighters? Well, how dare you? You're a shame and a disgrace. But yeah, but you know what? That's the crazy thing too. Is like we're pretty much done with boxing until January, for a few weeks now. Because we'll just have the Inui Picasso, but I don't think that's gonna be. Nakatani is decent. Yeah, you know what, man? That's the fight they're trying to set up. But as far as actually caring and being excited and being like, oh, this is a mega event, it's not. Yeah, if they both win, they'll announce it. They've already said they're gonna do it. So, that's a banger. But then that might not. They said that it won't be until May. So you're looking at 6-7 months. And that's what I'm saying, man. They just wait way too long in between these things. So we just had this Jake Paul thing. The last big boxing card was the ring card, Devin Haney, and it's been kind of dry, right? This wasn't even a real boxing event, and we don't have anything until December 30th, right? Is that when the Picasso fight is at the end of the year? And then we'll have to wait 3 weeks until Muratalia and Andy Cruz Sandor fight. Ooh, who cares? What can you even find that on anywhere to watch it? That's the thing with boxing, man. It's just so fragmented. It's hard to find where, people were trying to watch Tim Tszyu and Nonito Donaire last week, and they couldn't find the links. They couldn't find the streams. It's just like, they don't really do a lot in promoting. I'm a boxing nerd. I think we all are. One sec. I think we all are boxing nerds, but we can't even find all the fights to fight. They had this WBC Grand Prix, but it was like 6 in the morning. Who's getting up to watch that? I'm not. On a Saturday? I don't know, man. It's just, Xander Zayas versus Marcos Verde is the next Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Verde has a long way to go. I mean, it'll be at least a year, 2 years. Xander Zayas has a tough fight in Barasu in January. But again, the whole month of January, you have to wait till the end of January, right? For that. But in between, there's not a lot going on. But so I asked you guys, is the Jake Paul era over? Do you guys think the Jake Paul era is over? Did it ever start? Will it come back again? Will it be as big? Solo Dolo. Hit the like, guys. Remember, Jake was a YouTuber and he got paid more than a UFC boxer's purse combined. Yeah, people on social media are upset with that, right? They're pissed off that Jake Paul made a living off the sport. Salute, Bomb Squad. Thank you. Hit the like. Right? People are pissed off at that. And, who cares, man? I care about the fights. I'm here to talk about the fights. Everything else is just drama, G-Smed, T. You know what I'm saying? If he made a lot of money, good for him. Thank you. Respect. Exactly. If Jake Paul made a lot of money, what's it to us? Morb DC is truly, I think he is the biggest boxing nerd. How the fuck do you follow all this shit, man? You know who Igo Balki is? Verde fought, and you're saying he fought Janibek and beat Janibek? Is that what I'm saying? Impala, thank you. Yes, the Jake Paul era. I believe it was an era. He just fought Tyson, Chavez. Now he fought Anthony Joshua, went 6 rounds. And Jay, you think he's a good guy? I don't know. I don't consider these social media influencers and YouTubers good people. This is my opinion. I don't think they're good people. It's not like they're doctors. It's not like they're lawyers and not teachers. They make money off of just rumors and playing, and they don't do anything for society. They don't have any legitimate talent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like painters, sculptors, Olympians, they all got legit special talent. Your favorite musician, even maybe your favorite rapper. Everybody has, like, the people that we follow have special talents that not everybody could do. You know what I'm saying? Dancers, Justin Timberlake, Jennifer Lopez, your favorite actor. People get paid for their talents, but these social media streamers, what is their talent? To just be annoying, like this Jake Doherty guy. He just walks around with bodyguards and bumps people. I find it despicable and pathetic. But hey, man, if you can make a living doing that, then more power to you. But it's just like with this Jake Paul deserves respect. I don't think you owe anybody respect in the world. Eric Gomez just said respect. Because I respect him, he respects me, right? Let me ask you guys, do you guys think you owe anybody respect? Do we owe Jake Paul respect? I'll give you an example. I have road rage, right? I try to drive safely, and people are just insane out here. Be safe during the holidays, guys. Do not drink and drive. It is the holidays. There's a lot of cops out. Make sure you drive safe. It's not worth it, bro. Speeding, drinking during the holidays, especially, it's not worth it. It's not worth the court date, lose a day of pay, a big fine. Don't be a distracted driver. There's a lot of idiots on the road. You only really save about 30 seconds running a red light. And I'm like, these people are so reckless on the road. They don't deserve respect. You don't respect other people's, you don't respect people. Well, then you don't deserve respect. Respect is a two-way street. If you're in the grocery store, supermarket, you respect the people in their space. But so many people, they don't care. They'll ram you with their cart. They'll take what you're gonna take, and it just lets you know people don't have respect. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see with the streamers. They get paid to be disrespectful. So I don't know if they're good people. You know, a good person is respectful. Most celebrities don't deserve respect. Well, not in this day and era, yes, I believe celebrities deserve respect if they have talent. Lord Chilaquiles, that's right, that's right. Boxing will never leave you. Only road rage when I don't get my chilaquiles. Yeah, but don't speed, man. It's never worth it. An uncle who's a cop, you know, he told me, bro, it's never worth it. If you're late, you're late. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really save that much time. Do you know Jay got donated his money to pay for UFC that needed a lung? Okay. Well, in those instances, yes, I understand what you're saying. But again, we don't know these people behind closed doors. And the celebrity thing, I was just talking about people with talent. I'm talking about the new age celebrity with like Kardashians, streamers, and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't think I don't think people automatically deserve respect. You know, you respect them as a human being, but you don't respect them as like that if they're acting ignorant, you respect ignorance. You know, you can't just walk up and punch somebody, but you don't respect them like you treat them as you would a decent person. Jake helped women's boxing too. Yeah, that's something that people are saying, but how long will that last? You know, how long will it last? That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it lasts a while. Bud era only lasted 3 months. Yeah, that's why I said the Jake Paul era. You know, people were talking about it's the Bud era. And that's it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? This Bud era. Get the fuck out of here, man. Horrible fighter. Nah, I just don't care. I didn't care about him. I didn't care about them, and I don't care about him now. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to care about somebody? You know, that's my thing. So here's Jake Paul. He had the surgery, broken jaw. You know, he's licking his wounds. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy that this guy made it this far. That's the crazy thing, right? What do they say about it? Jake Paul has revealed that he's now undergone successful surgery on his jaw after it was broken in 2 places. Paul said 2 titanium plates on each side. Everything went smooth. Lots of pain, stiffness. Gotta eat liquids for 7 days. So he got fucked up, right? Which, good. We knew that was gonna happen. Let's see. Jake was using women's boxing to get the woke factor with Netflix. Oh, that's smart, man. Yo, salute. Thank you. JC Crawford never defended his undisputed. Exactly. So that's a good point. You know, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, the guy's smart. Bud, salute. Hit the like, guys. Thank you for coming in. Bud never had undisputed. I will drop the link in a minute. Bud never had undisputed at 168. He couldn't pay the fee. The main must be real. I don't know what you mean by that. But so Jake Paul, does he deserve respect? Let me ask you this. Is the clown show era over? I think it is, because he won't be back for Are the Wheels Loose? The pain must be bad on that jaw. He has enough money and drugs that he'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? He earned it, right? I mean, he said he got paid $250 million. Who knows? Maybe it was more like around $40 million, but he got paid millions and millions of dollars for being smart. That much I will give him. Crawford Duck Ortiz at 147. It did look like that way. AJ the Clown Killer. AJ smashed Jake and Alicia Bumgardner same night. That's what I seen. Then that fight was boring as shit. Alicia Baumgartner. Terrible fight. Jake will reinvent himself as what though? Like, I just don't see him being able to get up for mediocre competition. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say what is he supposed to do now? You know what I'm saying? So everybody, Sergio Morris says more commercials than punches being displayed. You know what I'm saying? So here's where he shows the broken jaw, right? So it was a real fight. I mean, that's what people are pointing to. It was a real fight in the sense that he did get his jaw broken. But could it have been scripted? scripted in the sense that it was supposed to go at least 4 or 5 rounds. Anthony Joshua took it easy on him. You know, people are giving him credit. Most people on social media are giving him credit. Oh, he went in there. He had guts to get in there. Dude, if you give anybody 40 million, they're going to get in there. Remember, Jake never... That's true. But does he deserve credit? If you give any one of us 40 million, shit, if you gave me 2 million, I'm going to do it for my family, you know? You know, I may not be able to look straight or walk straight, but shit, you know, I'll have enough money to help my family. You mad because Jake Paul couldn't make it to the end? Well, you know, a lot of people bet on this fight, right? A lot of people had money on this fight. And so people are saying Jake Paul overperformed and was in the fight for 5 of the 6 rounds. His broken jaw ended his night, and he can hold his head high. So this is what I'm saying. What do you guys think of that? He was never in the fight. Dan Raphael says he was never in the fight, lost every round on all 3 cards, and was down 4 times and knocked out. Spent 4 rounds understandably fleeing, then got tired and hammered to the mat. That pretty much sums it up. Jake can't fight a nobody. He has built a big fight or not. That's what I'm saying. It has to be the hype. Netflix won't pay for small fights, so he is screwed. On that stage, I think that's what the tiny car full of creepy clowns fell off the rails. Jake always gasses. AJ's still a bum. That's the other thing. What does AJ do now? Does anybody care? You know, because they're saying he's going to fight Tyson Fury. But for me, my original premise was that AJ lost. I dropped the link, guys, when he wants to hop on and tell me if it was real, it was fake. AJ lost. He needed to get him out of there in 1 round. Otherwise, it was a disgrace, you know? And then on the other hand, people are saying, well, Jake Paul ran and he was, you know, there was takedowns. He was trying to tackle him. It was just a sloppy, ugly fight. You know, that was not boxing. You know, and people are saying he lasted longer than Ngannou. But at the same time, I mean, Ngannou came to fight. He stood right in front of him. So that's really the argument here, right? Is that, you know, if anybody comes to fight like that, run around the ring, yeah, if they can survive. Anybody could survive, bro. I think people are mistaking that. AJ on his last run of fights most likely ends with Fury fights, depending on how they go. Well, my problem is I wish they would just get straight to it, you know, because they're gonna do these middle fights. You know, AJ's gonna fight some other nondescript heavyweight on a Rite of Season card. And then Tyson Fury is gonna fight in another fight. So they're trying to double dip and milk it. What's the fight to make? AJ Fury, AJ Wilder? I'd rather see Wilder, believe it or not. You know, Fury, he does too much. He doesn't know he's retired. He's coming back, and then he's not. You know, he hasn't said what he wants to do. So I just would rather just go with Wilder. I think Wilder will jump in the ring. Mr. Mary, at least the jaw broken. He wasn't able to talk his crap for a bit. Oh, okay. Facts. Ngannou stopped up. Yeah, he wasn't running. The ref always protects the runners. The ref was paid off by Jake. He never took points off for all that holding. Yeah, it looked fake in that sense. It looked fake. There was just so much fakeness to it. What set me off about it being fake, allegedly, is that when they were clinching, AJ wasn't like pounding on him, right? I was like, AJ's a professional boxer. He could have really fucked up Paul inside the clinch. And he was kind of content just to let Jake Paul hold him. It wasn't until after the 4th round that you seen him start to like manhandle Jake Paul, right? He started punching inside the clinch. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. Maybe now it's real. So that it's real he got punched, but it could have been scripted in the sense, allegedly, that he was going to carry him. Am I wrong? Do you guys remember? Do you guys understand what I'm saying in that sense? AJ was throwing punches far away from beginning. Yeah. I mean, he was swinging and missing a lot, and Jake was making a miss and running. Um, but it just seemed fake inside when they were clinching. Somebody tell me if they noticed that too. When they were clinching on the inside in the very beginning, I was like, why isn't Anthony Joshua fucking him up on the inside? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't he, slapping him on the head, doing a bunch of stuff? So let's see. Dougie Fisher from Reed Magazine says, Jake doesn't go the 8-round distance, but he proves he's got metal and a better chin than Francis Ngannou. That's Dougie Fisher from Reed Magazine. Do you agree with him? Does that prove anything? Or does it just prove he was running? I think AJ was afraid. Jake landed like 3 or good 4 shots. Like he was throwing some Hail Marys and he connected a couple times, but AJ was never visibly hurt and he kind of just smiled. And we know it was a big ass ring, right? Guys, hit the like, please. I did drop the link. I think AJ was afraid. Lou DeBella says 3 rounds of horse shit from AJ. He wasn't even tired. Disgraceful. This is Sergio Mora, right? Jake Paul might as well be wearing a red nose with floppy shoes. Sergio Mora also says, after all that talk, this dude fake Paul ran for his life and got sympathetically mercy knocked out by a gentleman in Joshua. So, this is the final. Oh, shit. That was real. That was real. Boom! Right on the chin. Holy shit, man. Let's see. I was kidding. Clearly, Jake Paul was afraid and was trying to run around, survive. People call that the sweet science, man. Jake did a great impression of the Roadrunner. But people see that in Davina Hanke when he was grabbing and running, they called it the sweet science. I'm just saying, Sergio Moore should shut up because Jake Paul would kick his ass. Ngannou is a real fighter, just a novice in boxing. He legitimately squared up. That's the other thing, man. I mean, shit, man. I don't think he was big enough to run, but yeah. When fighters start fighting dirty against back foot bitch, then the ref starts taking points. I agree. So that's what I'm saying though. Does Jake Paul deserve credit? Does he deserve credit for that? Is what I'm saying. Does he deserve credit for just getting in the ring? Does he get credit for lasting 6 rounds? So who's more at fault? Is Jake Paul more at fault for, or who's more at fault? Jake Paul for running, or Joshua for not being able to get him out of there? Adam, Jake might have broke a record for most slips and falls. But Adam, this is what I'm saying. Davina Hanke was doing the same thing. He wasn't throwing very much. Now, I'm not saying it was the same thing, but it looks similar. Just saying. But does Jake Paul deserve credit? Do we need, as boxing fans, right? Not social media fans, but as boxing fans, does he deserve, do we need to respect him? Does he deserve respect for going in there and lasting? Because he didn't last by boxing. Like, let's get that understood. That was not boxing. Right? That was not boxing by any means or stretch of the imagination. That was not a boxing match. AJ carried Jake to entertain the fans. I would have given more credit. Well, that's what I'm saying. But so we don't knock Anthony Joshua because we think he carried him, which is fake. Right? So he sold his ass. Oh, you to give credit if he fought him? Well, he tried. I mean, isn't that what any fucking guy off the street would do? Like, I'm just going to run and I'm going to try to throw a Hail Mary. And if I land, and if I got caught, I get caught. But it won't be too bad. So that's not boxing, man. That's not boxing. I mean, anybody could have did that. Jake learned a lot on how to run and hold from those. Oh, yeah. They did spar. They did. Hit the like, guys. Hit the like. It's all about the bennies. It is, and that's the crazy thing, right? Jake made a shit ton of money conning the public, right? He made money conning the public. It was a good con, but is it over? Jake's next opponent, oh, the Island Boys. Oh, okay. Jake deserves no credit whatsoever. He's brought himself into boxing. He has never come up through the ranks. He simply isn't a boxer as long as he has. Oh, okay. Hawker Mustang. AJ didn't carry him. That was the best AJ could do possibly. Do you guys agree with Hawker? So is that an indictment on AJ? Is he just not that good? Is he just not that good? That he couldn't get Jake Paul out of there?
Jake Here's Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. You know, even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you know, you're going to get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of. All right, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight. I was hoping that I could at least give Jake credibility and saying, you know what, he took this challenge. You know, even if it's for a lot of money, he still had the guts to walk to the ring and all this stuff. I was hoping, you know, you're going to get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he's going to earn.
Thank you. Hit the like, Jim Smith. AJ is not the real deal. Dolo. AJ is the real deal. So that's what I'm saying. This is what we're doing, is having the conversation. Guys, I dropped the link. If anybody wants to hop on and challenge some of the chat, challenge me. You know, that's what we're trying to do here is get the conversation going. Was it a real fight? Was it scripted? Is the Jake Paul era over? Can he come back after this? You know, AJ, is he legitimate? Does he deserve any credit for knocking out Jake Paul? Did he carry Jake Paul? There's a lot of questions that people are having, right? So let's hear what Paulie has to say.
He earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. The guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds. Literally just run for. He was doing football jukes.
He said he was doing football jukes. That was true though. He was running for his life. But isn't that what we'd all do? It was a real fight, and AJ struggled. AJ struggled because he's not that good.
You guys watched that fight? Ring was big. I made a freaking point about that ring being big, and he used it to his advantage in terms of survival in every way he could. I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. And notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then like.
Well, that's what I said. He was just trying to throw a home run punch. But that's what I keep saying, man. That's what any of us would do. We'd all probably look the same. And that's the point too, right? Is that Jake Paul, he doesn't really get credit. But everybody, you know, his social media fans are going to hold to that oh, he deserves credit, and you know, they're kind of gonna gloss over it. Did he do good? I mean, he trained, he said he was sparring boxers, you know. Hit the like. I dropped the link that he was sparring boxers. And Morb DC, interesting. People see a big black guy with a brilliant physique and think that he's the next Tyson LeBron. Yeah, that post fight with AJ was cringe. With Ariel Helwani, he was like looking deep into his eyes, had his hands on his shoulders, like he was putting them in close. And then AJ said, "I'm a Greek god," or he said something like just way suspect. He said, "I know you look at me as a Greek god," and Ariel Helwani like blushed and looked down. It was super creepy and sus. Jake Paul was holding AJ's ankles. Yeah, it wasn't a fight. Isha Smith is a former fighter. He says, running around the ring, trying to survive is not boxing. Only props he gets from me is securing a bag. True. Other than that, he fought like a pure bitch. any real boxer fight like that, y'all be killing it out here tonight. So stop that he did good shit. Stop with the Jake Paul did good shit. It's easy to be brave when you're getting paid crazy money. Like it or not, Jake Paul won an embarrassing defeat. Do you guys agree with Sergio Mora? Jake Paul is the winner. I said that before, right? That was my pick. If Jake Paul lasts more than a round, he won. Jay Smith hit the like. Look what Dubai did to him. Dubai is 6'2". Usyk is 6'2". AJ was never as skilled as the heavyweights. Maybe you remember Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. He just wasn't on that level. He beat an old Klitschko. And hopefully we'll get to see Fury and AJ, because Fury, in my opinion, is the more skilled guy, but AJ may have the more dog. We'll finally get answers if they did. Now there's AJ's calling out, giving Fury a deadline, so they're just milking it. We should have got that fight. We should be on a third fight. It's crazy, but why hadn't they ever fought, man? Why had they never fought? Is my question. It's crazy that they've never fought. I actually think Joshua can beat Fury. I dropped the link if anyone wants to hop on, but they're not the best. They're not the best now. Yeah, Usyk already proved that, right? But we still want to see it. It's a big fight. Why all the Jake running hate? That's the way Shakir. Thank you, Impala. Yes, we've been saying that. And Jake Paul was a cruiserweight, right? He was a cruiserweight. I dropped the link, guys. Hit the like. He was a cruiserweight. But is the Jake Paul era over? I think it was an era. Can he come back? I asked you guys earlier. Can Jake Paul come back for this? What will be coming back from? Will there be any reason for him to come back? Does it get any bigger than this? Why would you come back and fight Scrubs again? That's my question. Why would you come back and fight Scrubs? I saw a black guy build like Anthony Joshua that got knocked out. Oh man, that's all day on YouTube, right? Or Instagram. I think Fury will take a tune-up before the AJ fight. Yeah, they already have that in the works. That's already a Writing Season card. They're gonna double dip us. They're gonna do what they did when they tried to set up AJ versus Wilder. Right? Here's Anthony Joshua post-fight. Let's see what he has to say.
Done differently in the mind of a trainer.
In the mind of a trainer, what in the mind of a trainer in terms of preparation?
In preparation, what would you do differently?
I don't know. I think preparation was perfect, but Jake done something completely different.
Did you expect him to move like that?
Not like that. I expected him to move, but not like that. Imagine I was sparring and they were just moving around the ring. I would have never got any work. I had sparring partners that were fighting me. We were going toe to toe, throwing 90 punches around and stuff. But Jake moved around a lot.
What would?
There it is. That's what AJ says, right? He moved around the ring a lot. But that's you're a professional fighter. You're supposed to be one of the best. You gotta cut the ring off. You gotta get him out of there. That's what we expect. When an opponent is outmatched, you're supposed to get him out of there. And if you don't, then you don't look like the best. What would Canelo Alvarez or Terrence Crawford done against one of these guys? Not Jake Paul, but just a social media influencer, right? Tio versus Shakur. Yep, it'll be a chase around the ring. I don't think the Jake Paul era is over. If anything, I think this might enhance it. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't. Hit the noti. It seems to be getting a lot of props for surviving for as long as he did. The vinyl collector. You don't think it's over? He won't be back for like 2 years. Some people are saying he'll be back for a year. Bro, he said he was taking a break. He just had his jaw broken. Wired shut, titanium steel plates. And you guys think he'll be back in a year. He won't be back for another till late 2027. If the best bet, he'll be back in 2028. We'll already be up for a new election. Is anybody going to care? Joshua will be retired. Canelo probably will be retired. So here's a clip. Let me fair use. Let's So this is Jake Paul running around the ring. Somebody clip this. Running and clinching is not a skill, especially when a trash boxer like Jake Paul can do it. Nothing sweet or scientific about it, just plain cowardice. We've been saying this. Right? This is Jake Paulino running around the ring. But shouldn't Anthony Joshua still be able to get him out of there? I think he wants a world title. You think we're still thinking Jake is going to get a world title? I mean, AJ was too big for Jake, I'm saying. Yeah, but he should have got him out of there. Canelo was lucky he didn't fight Jake. It was lose-lose. Yep. AJ was too big for the boy. Jake and Joshua both won. You think they both won? Oh, well, the money-wise, yeah. Hopefully he gets the hint and retires before he gets sick. He already got hurt. Man. He got fucked up. He got his jaw broken. Hit the light. Hopefully he gets the hint and retires before he gets seriously hurt. Well, what more? I don't know what more he needs, man. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm 50-50. I don't think he comes back. Because I don't know what there would be. And it won't be as big as it was, right? Hit the like. I dropped the link. Here's bro got hit by a real punch. Bud fans down bad, Frank. Did you see the Grand Prix? No. It was at 6 a.m. in the morning. You guys are the real fans, man. I'm just a casual, right? I'm not getting up at 6 in the morning and watching that. I don't know. I'll watch the highlights. Everyone talks of Jim Smith too big, but they seem to forget Usyk. So here's a clip. This is that Jake Paul meme now. When he got hit, he had that face, stuck his tongue out. Salute Jake Paul, though. I mean, it looks like everybody's interested. We all liked it. Hit the like. I dropped the link if you want to say your piece. I said pay them fees for the winners and they get mad. Of course. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? But is the Jake Paul era over? I'm saying the Jake Paul era is over. And Anthony Joshua, should he get shit for a shit performance? Do you guys think it was a good performance? Were you entertained? Does Anthony Joshua, does he get knocked in your opinion? Should he have cut the ring off? Was Jake Paul just running too much? Was it scripted? Joshua wants to fight Tate next. No, do we want to see Jake Paul and Tyson Fury? Is that the fight to make? It looks like they're going to do some preliminary bouts, have a tournament kind of. They'll be in separate bouts. Oh shit! Jake Paul posted a meme. He did land on Anthony Joshua. He came in and landed. Does he get credit for this? He landed on him. I think we'd all be lucky to land a punch on Anthony Joshua. I like to box. I've boxed before. I did, just gym, sparring, amateurs, never professional, but I don't know. I would. Your cat. Yeah. Sorry, Matador. I emailed you actually. I really appreciate it, bro. Yeah, Cash App changed shit, man. I wasn't able to get it up. My bad, man. I really appreciate it, but thank you. Great picture. Yeah, this is something you would hang on your wall, right? Like, I think we'd all be proud of ourselves if we landed one punch. But does that say more about Anthony Joshua, though? What do you think Canelo Alvarez would have did? People are saying, somebody here in the chat said that Canelo would have lost. Jake Paul beats Canelo Alvarez. Because if you remember, Canelo Alvarez was supposed to fight Jake Paul. Punch Drunk Boxing says that Canelo fucked up. Do you guys agree with Punch Drunk Boxing? Like, subscribe to him if you guys all know who he is. Do you agree with his take that Canelo fucked up by not taking that fight? Could this have been the Canelo instead of Punch Drunk says that it's on Twitter, he posted it, that Canelo fucked up by taking the turkey bag and not taking the Jake Paul bag. Never sobers. Thank you. Salute. Never sobers. Always, he has the fights. Go to his Discord, join. He's always dropping good shit in there. Canelo should have dodged Crawford and taken the Paul fight. In hindsight, it looks like that's what he should have did, right? Like, holy shit, man. What a fucking Canelo Alvarez, man. What a fall off the cliff, man. He'd have been better off fighting Jake Paul, huh? Yeah. In hindsight, that's what it looks like. But you know what? If Jake Paul would have ran, Canelo would have, they'd have slammed him too. So I don't really see a lot of slander for Anthony Joshua the same they would have Canelo Alvarez if that would have happened in reverse, right? Punch wish wash on his Canelo tails. A lot of people are, a lot of people look, that's just the nature of fandom, right? They hop on the bandwagon and then they hop off. Canelo should have Pacheco fight. He's not ready after we've seen that performance. I don't think Pacheco's ready, and Canelo will get no credit. I'm from the UK and I wanted Jake to win. Maybe because you're a Tyson Fury fan. Was this real? Was it a real fight? Did Anthony Joshua carry Jake Paul? I'm gonna say yes. I'm going to say yes just because, like I pointed out, when they were clinching at the very beginning, he didn't fight on the inside. He could have fought out of the clinch. No, not a Fury fan. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people just don't like Anthony Joshua. They think he's an egomaniac. And remember, and at the end of the fight, he says, "You guys think I'm a Greek god?" And he's like looking deep into Ari Helwani's eyes. It's kind of cringe. It was kind of cringe if you ask me. But what's crazy is we all watched it though, right? We all watched it. We were all entertained. And does he come back? You like Usyk, Dubois, Wilder, and Ruiz. And what's crazy is that era's over, man. The Wilder Ruiz era is coming to an end. Usyk is coming to an end. Fury and all these guys are coming to an end. It's kind of sad, right? The next up is what? Moses Saitama. That's about it. Canelo would have looked bad if he would have ducked $150 million to fight Bud for a Jake fight that would have paid less. That's an interesting take, King KO. Interesting take. But he won a loss and he had to beat Jake Paul and he made a lot of money in a win. Right? Who knows? I mean, that's why hindsight is 2020, right? We can always look back and say, I should have did this, I should have did that. If I would have did this, it would have turned out this way. But we will never really know. We make our choices and we live with them. But he wouldn't have got his ass whooped. Who are you, Jim Smith? Are you talking about Canelo or Jake Paul or Anthony Joshua? Morb DC, it's ironic. Joshua lost to Fat Boy Ruiz after he said the superior black race to Witherspoon. Yes, I do remember Joshua making some of those statements. Yeah, Canelo. Oh, but he wouldn't have got his ass whooped. Okay. Yeah, well, look, man, I don't think Canelo got his ass whooped by Bud. He lost and it was embarrassing. But people lose. It's embarrassing just losing, right? But he got what King KO said. He got paid more. He got $150 million. You really can't turn down $150 million. If he was fighting Jake Paul, I think it was for like $80 million or $90 million, and he got $150 million. So he made the right choice. I felt bad. Yeah, I mean, he got embarrassed, right? He got embarrassed in the sense that he should have never lost to that guy. So, but what can you do? It's boxing, man. What can you do? This is the fandom on social media. So this guy says on social media, he says, Jake Paul, a natural cruiserweight, had a better result, round 6 KO loss against AJ than 58% of AJ Joshua's opponents, including Ngannou, Wallin, Molina, and Martin. So that's what people are saying, is that it's a win for Jake because he lasted longer, right? And he says that Ngannou, Wallin, Molina, and Martin didn't last long. But those guys came to fight. That's the other thing, right? If you run around the ring and you back foot bitch it's easy to survive. People are finally calling out runners, right? When they seen Jake Paul run, they're saying, oh my God, he's running. But we see it all the time, in fights. There's guys that run and run and run. And they get praised for it. It's called the sweet science. So that's the other thing, The Jake Paul era, I think it's over. Does he stay in boxing? Do you guys think he stays in boxing? You know, he's promoting the women's boxing. He's promoting that. But how long does that have? How does anybody gonna follow it and care? I mean, what's a big fight for Bumgarner? Who does he have besides Alicia Bumgarner? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. I think he should stay in it. For what though? What is he gonna stay in boxing for? For circus fights? Who is he gonna fight? You know, he'll probably come back and fight MMA fighters, but it'll never be to this level. He fought a former heavyweight champion, you know, and AJ could become champion again. He lasted 6 rounds. Canelo number 11 in ring rankings, but number 1 in our hearts. Yeah, you know, Canelo's still coming back. Snackford has retired. You know, he's ducking the rematch. And Canelo, but see, Canelo's gonna be out a year too, and out a year, so he's not really relevant. And when he comes back, who is he gonna fight? Is he gonna fight Hamza Shiraz for a title? You know, all the titles are dispersed now. It'll be a whole new landscape. He has about at least 3 more fights with the Turki Al-Sheikh. Bud Snackford could still come back. Anthony Joshua and AJ, they're in the news now, you know, talking about setting up a fight. You know, but what's next? What's next? Is the fight still a big fight? AJ and Fury, is it still a big fight? Do you guys want to see them take tune-ups before that fight? That's the other question. You know, they're gonna fight tune-ups. They're going to fight tune-ups before they get into the ring against each other. You know, and that's the other thing. People forget he was supposed to fight Tank Davis. How do you think that would have been more interesting? Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. Ryan Garcia says that Tank would have did Paul worse. You still got mad respect for Canelo? Yeah, I mean, he took on this all-time great that people say, and Bud Crawford. They call him an all-time great. Jake will probably make the Bumgarner Serrano fight. Is that what they're talking about? Maybe people would care for that. But after that, I mean, his women boxing, I don't know how big it could be. I don't think it's just people care that much. Bob Arum was told by the matchmakers of Top Rank that old Pacquiao was too much for Crawford. Wow. AJ versus Wilder. Yeah, there's still big fights, but are they championship level fights? We know who the champion is, Usyk, and it was also always supposed to be for championships. Tank versus Jake would have been a goof. Would Tank have beaten Jake Paul? Bud living his best life. Chilaquiles, Lord Chilaquiles, exactly. Would Tank Davis have knocked out Jake Paul? Would it have been a good fight? I think it would have been better just because of the size difference. Hit the light. But Jake Paul, you know, I just can't see him coming back and fighting scrubs. You know what I'm saying? Coming back and fighting low tier fighters. And is it going to be on Netflix? That's the thing we got to look at, like the magnitude of the event. This was a big event. You know, YouTube paid a lot of money for it. So are they really willing to give him a big bag? And that's the other thing. Who's willing to pay him lots and lots of money to come back and fight scrubs? He might go back to YouTube. What's he going to do on YouTube? The Bob Arum interview is on Recognize the Matrix YouTube channel. Okay, go fuck with that. But yeah, the Jake Paul era over, man. I think it's over for now. And if he comes back in 2 years, I just don't know what he'll be doing. You know, for these guys, it's all about the hype, you know. Here today, gone tomorrow. I always say that. Here today, gone tomorrow. One day you're at the top, the next you're on the bottom. You know, he just got his jaw broken, dude. He just got his damn jaw broken in 2 places. Jake era is over. Thank you. Somebody said it. So thank you. We have an official Jake Paul era is over. So how long was it? Was it even an era? Because he really didn't win any big fights. You know, it was just he fought Tyson, Chavez, and now Anthony Joshua. Nate Diaz. So it was a little era. I mean, it wasn't a boxing era, but it was a social media era in boxing, right? In boxing, this little social media era, but I don't think it ever gets to this. That's what I'll say. I don't ever think it gets to this era again. Bully got bullied. Fuck Jake. You think Jake Paul was a bully? Yeah, he was a bully, and he fought a old senior citizens in Tyson, right? And Tyson wasn't able to throw punches. Julio Cesar Chavez was washed up. But it's going to be broke in the next 10 years. You think he's going to be broke? Nah, I don't know if he'll be broke, but will he come back? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to come back, but we don't know against who. It was never, that's what I'm trying to say. It was never an era. It was a clown show circus. Thank you. Yes. It was, okay, so it wasn't that's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't a boxing era, but it was a Jake Paul era in boxing. He didn't do it through boxing and fights. He fought Tommy Fury and lost, but he brought eyes to boxing. He fought. He managed it to where he got a Anthony Joshua fight, and that was smart. You can't say it wasn't. It was genius. So somebody says, Kronk, the real Kronk Jim, somebody says, it's absolutely comical after Jake Paul gets his jaw broke in 2 places. People still using the word fixed. Hold on, Frankie Carbo is calling. Be back later. So he's saying it's not fixed. Is 1 second. Somebody's backstage. Give me 1 second. I'll bring you on. I just need to bring up my. Make sure you're not a troll. They say it's Mad Chad. Go ahead, Mad Chad. Speak.
Yo, Frank Bay. How you doing, Frank? What's shaking?
I'm good, man. What's up, Mad Chad?
It was nice to see Jake Paul kind of get, exposed for what he is. He's a trash fighter, and it's a big hype thing. He gained that YouTube momentum. And he made his name beating up bullies. He beat the basketball player, then he beat the MMA fighter. Then he fights Tommy Fury, which is a fraud of a fighter. I mean, Tommy Fury ain't good, and he lost to Tommy Fury. He didn't even never mention the rematch. Then he segues into a Mike Tyson fight. I mean, Mike Tyson he's a hippie now. He's a hippie. He's got 10,000 milligrams of marijuana in him at all times. I mean. Then he fought. Then he wanted to bully Tank Davis for what it's worth. I mean, Tank Davis is a oompa oompa. I mean, he's a little human being. And then Anthony Joshua just had the easiest payday of his life. Just thank God Jake Paul ran out of gas, because it was a 22 by 22 foot ring. He wanted a 30 by 30 foot ring, and he was running. He was. I call him Jake Skull. Jake Skull. People giving him respect for lasting. He went in there, he ran. He almost ran out of the ring a couple times. I'm just glad Anthony Joshua broke his jaw, and hopefully he'll Jake Paul is done. He's done. He's gonna end up fight. Who's gonna fight next? He ran. He's a runner. And the bully got bullied, Frank, at the end of the day. And that's my opinion. Jake Paul's trash.
Damn, you was cooking right there. Yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything you said. He ran, and you said everything I would say. No, and even if he does come back, who is he gonna fight? But do you think this was a Jake Paul era?
No, not even close. It was a Jake Paul hype thing. It was kind of like whatever it is. It's kind of like the Macarena. I don't know. You'll still hear about him, but
okay,
he did what he had to do. He got a big name on the plate. He got some international fighting Jake Paul. But
what do you think? What would you say about AJ? The performance? Did he carry him? What everybody's saying on social media.
I think if he wanted to go right out there and take him out, he could have. I just think he probably did a little bit for the over and under. I know there's a lot of hanky-panky cheating going on. I don't know what the over and under in the fight. I thought it would last seconds, to be honest. I didn't think it would even last that long. But it kind, I think he was just kind of going through the motions, just kind of, and then he said, "Fuck this, I'm taking him out." I think he could have knocked him out. Jake Paul ran out of gas. He ran out of gas. That's all it was. If Jake Paul would have had the stamina, it would have went the distance because he would have just kept running. He was running. That wasn't fighting. People got to distinguish between fighting and running. I mean, if you can't watch a fight, and there's a sweet science to it. Watch some Sugar Ray Leonard. Watch some Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya wasn't this brutal Toro Gotti type fighter. De La Hoya could fight brilliantly side to side lateral movement, and that's fighting. But what Jake Paul was doing, what that Skull dude did, the Skull that pulled one of the biggest heists in the history of boxing. I don't know how much money he got paid to run around. I mean, that's not boxing. That's not good for boxing. It's that ain't fighting. That ain't no sweet science. That ain't being slick. That's being a coward. That's being in there to survive. You don't take a boxing fight. You don't enter a boxing match to survive. If you're a boxer, I don't care if your record's 1 in 100. You're entering to win. You still think you're going to win, and you go in there to win. You don't go in there to survive. There's a difference. And all Jake Paul did, he survived till he couldn't run no more. He ran away from the little old rabbit. He ran away from a little old man. He kept running, and then he ran out of gas.
Yeah, he was running for his life. But you think Joshua, had he wanted to, could have got him out of there earlier?
I think if he would have went full blown mode, came right out there and just kind of just throwing big haymakers, maybe threw a punch and missed and fell out of the ring himself. If he would have went out there with that aggression, but he just went out there knowing. I mean, Jake Paul hit him with a big looping right. It didn't even buzz him, didn't even hurt him. I mean, there's heavyweight. It's a whole different animal. Whole different animal.
So we agree on that. Jake Paul doesn't get any credit for that shit running.
No credit, none. People giving him credit. I hear people say, "Well, he went the distance." Well, he didn't fight. He ran. He fucking ran. I don't know what you were watching. It was a shitty fight. I was just hoping he would get decapitated.
He fucking ran, right?
He ran for his life. Like AJ had a fucking gun.
I wanna show you this. Are you looking at the screen?
Yes, sir.
Hold on,
Frank. Good to see you live, Frank. Good to see you live, Frank.
Thank you for joining, the legend himself. Let me show this.
Is not taking those punches very well, but that punch right there from Jake Paul was the cleanest shot he's landed tonight.
I'm gonna give him credit for this because I think it's similar to you and I being in the ring. I think I'd have been lucky to do this.
Taking those punches very well.
He does land clean on them. I'm gonna give him credit for this, or am I full of shit for that?
No, he it was a Make-A-Wish punch. You know what I mean? He just called back. It was a Make-A-Wish, and he connected, but it had no effect. We tried to give him the Usyk.
I'm gonna play. Look, it looks legit. Boom! That's a shot.
No, that's a shot. That's putting me out. That's probably knocking me out, for what it's worth. But that's a 6'6", 250-pound fucking human being heavyweight champion that took Andy Ruiz's shot. Come on, fellas. There's a difference to this. There's a difference between Tyson Fury's brother, Tommy Fury. I don't even know if he's fighting anymore. Than a heavyweight champion. I mean, realistically, AJ could have used one hand. He could have just had his right hand tied behind his back, and he could have beat Jake Paul on his knees. He could have went in the ring, got on his knees, and beat Jake Paul with one arm. Jake Paul was trash. He lost to Tommy Fury. Do people forget that? He lost to Tommy Fury. I was rooting for Tommy Fury because at least he's a boxer. He's got some pro fights. I mean, Jake Paul, he's a bully. He's a bully, hype job weirdo. That it came to an end. He ain't no heavyweight. He ain't no cruiserweight. Let Jairo Pataya fight him. I'd love to see Benavidez fight him. Do you know what Canelo would do? Canelo would destroy him worse than AJ. Canelo would have beat him worse than AJ.
Yeah, somebody said that Jake would have beat Canelo.
No, I said that earlier. I was just kind of trolling. I was having fun, just having fun with it.
Oh, okay.
Just being funny.
No, that's the crazy thing, right? Is that he went 6 rounds. So you're saying that are you saying that Anthony carried him just for the entertainment value, or that it was because he was running so much?
I think hypothetically two different things, but I think Canelo, if he would have been pissed off, if he really wanted to, he could have fucking kind of looked bad and stop and skull, because he would have thrown a lot and missed. He would have been throwing a lot of punches, missing a lot of punches, and he would have had to exhume a lot of energy to catch that little runner. If Canelo wanted to, he could have. If AJ wanted to, he could have took him out quicker. You know, but he's like, all right, I'm just going to wait till this fucking whack job slows down a bit.
Yeah, did you think the fight was real, or was it fake or scripted?
Well, it was definitely real, because I think AJ broke his face. You know, I think he broke his face for legit. And you know, I think it was, but like I say, who knows about the over and unders? Hey, if the fight goes this many rounds, you win or whatever. Because like I say, I think AJ, if he wanted to, if they said, AJ, listen, your bank account reads 0 if you don't take him out in the first round, he would have went out there real aggressive.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was a twofold. It was Jake running for his life, and it was AJ, like you said, I think you said, just taking it easy. Kind of like, you know what, I'm going to just take it easy, wear him down. But it was ugly.
I didn't even train with this. I just hung out with Usyk and drank fucking beer. I didn't train for this fight. I got up and ran 2 miles. I didn't even have to train for this fight. This was a joke fight to AJ. I don't even think AJ was breathing hard or nothing. It was a complete joke of a fight. Like you say, the Tank fight might have been a little more entertaining, where Tank is so little.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, that it would have looked more entertaining. Because I don't think he runs like that from what'd you call him? He was a
no. I think Tank runs. I think it would have been Tank running, Jake chasing him, and Jake running out of gas, then Tank beating him up. You know, I think Jake would have ran until he ran. You know, until Tank would have ran, and Jake would have chased him, and Jake would have ran out of gas, because he's not a world class athlete. He's not a world class boxer.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You go from fighting Tank Davis. Some people were saying Tank Davis was going to beat Jake Paul, and then he goes to fight a heavyweight champion, and some people were giving Jake a chance. I was ready to never watch boxing again, Frank. I go, if this is a big upset, I go up, because the world is wrong. The world is wrong. Like, something ain't right. If a YouTuber that lost to Tommy Fury can beat Jake Paul, can beat Anthony Joshua, I'm living in a fucked up world. This world ain't real. And I guess the world is at least real for another day.
That's a good point. I mean, I think we wanted to believe Jake had a chance, and that there could have been an upset, but there's no logical or real world where that's true. Because like you said, I mean, it'd have made boxing look really bad had Jake Paul beat Anthony Joshua.
It would have been just the ripple effect of it. Like that had a real historic type, you know, because we would have just been hearing about it. Like, wow,
shit, yeah.
the boxing is a fraud. You guys think Usyk is good? Usyk almost lost to AJ.
No shit. You know, I didn't even think about that. I mean, I probably did, but I didn't consider the ramifications of it. This is pretty much the fight. Here is Jake in Anthony's lap. Oh my gosh! Then there was that
falling down, and then he kept when he did that little stumble with his legs. Man, it was pretty funny. It had some funny moments, but what an ugly, disgusting fight. You know.
Well, what was he supposed to do? Jake did what he was supposed to do, right? Like, if he had stood and tried to exchange, I mean, it'd have been over in 30 seconds.
Right, and he might have not had a broken jaw. He might have just had a concussion. He might have got paid the same amount of money. It could have been over in 45 seconds. At least go in there and, I don't know. He did what he had to do, but it just showed to me that he was in there to survive. You know, he wasn't in there to win, Frank. This wasn't a competitive fight. It should have never been sanctioned. It's just we live in an entertainment world where all the fucking bullshit sells.
That wasn't a boxing match. It's pretty much that wasn't a boxing match for anybody watching. That wasn't boxing.
No, and Frank, did you check out that Grand Prix of boxing today? It was on YouTube.
No, I wasn't able to.
There was some good competitive fights. It was Ring Magazine was showing it, but it was just a breath of fresh air to watch a little bit of, people that you see skilled working in the gym, showing boxing skills, like going to a basketball game. Wow, nice dribble, nice pass, nice shot. This was like going to a gym and just watching a bunch of bricks. I mean, it was gross. It made AJ had everything to lose. I mean, he had whatever. He had a lot of money to make, but when you have $100 million, what's another $100 million? And whatever.
There's no dick pics coming. There's no dick pics coming, Frankie.
Okay.
No. Calm.
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing, man. Just cooking on Jake. Go ahead. Say what you got.
You know what, mate? I think the fix was in from the get-go. I think that was a script. I think that fight was totally fucking scripted. I mean, AJ didn't move his fucking feet until the 5th round, bro. He did not move his feet. He did not throw a right hand.
Right, he didn't throw a right for a long time, Carl. He didn't throw a right for a long time.
And I saw him in there like Anthony Joshua was going like he was, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but he was like pretending to box, like a left, right. And I'm like, AJ, what the fuck are you doing? And then, I'm just so grateful that the boxing gods finally shone upon us and gave that motherfucker a broken jaw. And now all my Christmases have come at once because that pretend useless fucking faggot Disney kid has to eat his Christmas dinner out of a blender. I'm so happy that his Christmas dinner is getting fed to him through a straw. I'm so happy for that. Because you don't play the sport, man. Like that's what happens when you fuck around. You find out. See, the level of fuck around and the level of find out. Jake found out, bro. And all this bullshit Jake's talking at the end of this fight that he's going back to cruiserweight. He's going to have a layoff and he's going back to cruiserweight and he's going to win a belt. Come on, people. Come on, let's keep it real here. Yeah, AJ wasn't allowed to throw that punch. He's probably had half his purse taken off him for breaking that cunt's jaw.
Carl, I could say one thing. I don't know if you're not familiar with this, Frank, but I know Anthony Joshua is lucky. Rolling with the punches didn't train Jake Paul, because if Jake would have used that high, because Roland is fighting like 7-foot monsters, and I think I didn't see any of that from Jake Paul. I saw the stiff jab, but it wasn't up high enough. Jake Paul did nothing. He did nothing. It was a complete exposure of someone that's trying to play boxing that went in there and was bullying his way around. He ended up beating a legendary Mike Tyson. I mean, he has Mike Tyson on his. Who else? If he would have beat Anthony Joshua, I would have never talked about boxing. There would have been like AD, BC, before, after. Like, it would have been a whole different era of life. Like the day boxing died. That's what it would have happened to me. If Anthony Joshua would have lost to this kid, boxing's dead to me. I ain't talking about no boxers next week or whatever, because it would. I can't wrap my head around the idea of that dude, that trashy fighter, beating somebody that they thought was the baddest man on the planet at one time. I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to wrap my head around it. Honestly, Kyle, I'd be like, done. No more boxing. I'm going to talk ping pong.
Could not agree more. And to try and make a fucking clown show out of the sport, mate, it's bad. It's a bad look for the sport. And I'm just so glad that this fucker now gets to have a year or two off and reassess his life choices and maybe go back to making Disney movies. Maybe him and Zac Efron could team up and make a fucking Disney movie again. Because this cocksucker shouldn't be in boxing, bro. People could say, oh, but what about what he's done for the women boxing? Fucking good on him. He's taking a risk with women boxing, wanting to spend his money. But let's see how them cards do when this cocksucker's not on there. Let's see how these women cards do without fucking fake Paul on there. Because, mate, for the life of me, I don't like it. No, AJ should have had that fight have fucking gone how that fight should have gone. That cunt should have been knocked. Should have had his jaw broken in the first 30 seconds. Let's be honest here, fellas.
Carl, once again, the dude ran for his life. Like, he almost ran out of the ring a couple times, Carl. You know, and for what it's worth, that's a 22 by 22 foot ring. That's as big as a ring you're going to find. That's a monstrous. And yeah, he's in shape. He's been training. The dude, he ran out of gas. Like, if he would have had that same energy, if he would have had like a Skull gas tank, he could have went the distance. Because AJ is kind of a plotter. AJ's a heavyweight. He ain't a slick-footed, fast dude. And once he saw him getting tired, I think that's when he picked it up. But there was no effort with AJ in the first few rounds. None. There was none. Even in the clinches, he was just docile. He was docile. He wasn't.
Yep.
There was definitely a script involved. But at the end of the day, he got knocked out. He got hit. He got hit by a heavyweight, and he got his face broke.
And this is why we say you don't play the sport, bro. This is the reason why you don't play boxing, because this type of shit's what happens. To me, that fight was kind of like, if you could imagine like a big gym, like they've got a big heavyweight name in their gym, and the gym owner's son says, "Dad, I want to put gloves on and I want to do some rounds with Anthony." All right, son, put some gloves on. Now, Anthony, can you just go easy on him for a couple of rounds and then just give him a little tap towards the end there, just to let him know that he's a fucking son of a millionaire and he's got no right being in this ring. Yeah, sure, boss, no worries.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that played out. But Chad, I just wanted to tap in on this WBC Grand Prix because there was a little Australian fighting in the 160-pound division that won. He fought Nikita Tszyu. His only losses to Nikita Tszyu. And then he went back to the drawing board, man, and he reinvigorated himself. And his whole team, he's had around him since he's 9 years old, bro. He put on an absolute clinic. And that was his 5th southpaw in a row in that tournament. He faced 5 fucking southpaws and schooled the fucking lot of them and picked up $100,000. And yeah, Australian boxing's on top.
What's his name, Carl? What's the kid's name?
Dylan Biggs.
Dylan Biggs. You're going to see a lot of these fighters come out of that Grand Prix series as being, eyes to watch, because it's a competitive series and they get to see all these different styles. You don't get to pick and choose who you're fighting. What a breath of fresh air it was today, Carl. I watched some of that today.
The rules are, Chad, you're allowed to have 1 loss on your record and you can't have any more than 15 fights. So that's the criteria to make the Grand Prix, how it's played out is you can't have more than 15 fights and you can only have 1 loss against your name. And yeah, man, it was fucking good to see young Dylan Biggs, man, a young Queenslander. He's from my state and he just lives and breathes this shit, mate. And he had a real tough fight against Nikita Tszyu, and Nikita Tszyu was all wrong for him, and Nikita busted him up. But yeah, since that loss, man, he's just fucking reinvented himself and fucking fighting well, mate. He's just fighting that at range. He's a rangy fighter. He's a tall dude. And man, he's just going from strength to strength. And yeah, I see this kid going places in boxing, man. He done really well. Picked up $100,000. Lazy 100,000. What a Christmas present for him and his kids. Fucking good on him.
Good on him. You know what fight, honestly, I hope it. I don't even want to see it. I'm an Usyk fan, but Usyk Wilder makes no sense to me. It's almost like now Usyk is just picking out names just for maybe whatever. I don't know. I think, and honest to God, I don't care how spent Wilder is, whatever. Yeah, Usyk's going to be a huge favorite. But that's just where you're taking that fight, Usyk. You have nothing to gain. All that you have to gain, it'll probably play out like Ali versus Larry Holmes, where Wilder will be able to take Usyk's punch, and he won't give up, and everybody will be waiting. Yeah, 8th round, 9th round, he's going to land that bomb. He probably never throw it, and it's an ugly fight. I don't like the way Usyk's moving right now. I've always been a big fan of how he's fought and who's he's picked for opponents, and how he's, and when he said Wilder, I'm like, he must be drinking.
But you know what that reminded me of? That kind of reminded me of Tank Davis's next opponent. Like, where the fuck did that come from? kind of moving a bit like Tank.
Moving a bit like just I don't know that ain't like Usyk's been moving though, you know, Kyle. And
Nah.
I just think he's almost thinking, hey, this will be an easy payday, which most likely it will be. But are you still worried about payday? You're a heavyweight, undisputed. What? I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
It wouldn't shock me if Usyk retires. I think that was his retirement call because he ain't mentioning the German. He ain't mentioning Moses because there's some fights that we want to see him fight, and he ain't mentioning them. And I think he might have one foot out the door, to be honest.
What about Wardley? Wardley's got the other belt. Go for 3-time undisputed.
That's what I'm saying. Even Wardley, Kyle, like fight Wardley. Yeah. If you're Usyk, if you're the man, you're the heavyweight champion. That's you can't call out Wilder. Maybe if you called out Wilder after you first got the belt, 3 years ago, whatever, when you were on your way up to heavyweight. But now to call him out, we all know Wilder's toast to Usyk. That's not being a brave. Let me fight the best. Let me be the underdog. Just a whole different way to see him move. And as a boxing fan, I don't like it. I want to see Usyk fight one of those top three guys. Or someone with a belt.
I never thought I'd see the day where Usyk could be cherry picking, but that's a cherry pick, mate. I mean, Wilder. Anyone who watched Wilder Zhang knows that Wilder's not in it anymore, bro. Wilder's a shell of the man who he was. Wilder can't take punches. Like he spun around and tried running away from Zhang in that fight, and then he got starched.
Yep.
I've never seen Usyk move like this, man. It's fucking crazy.
That's why I think he's retiring. I think he was almost just fucking drunk. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just thankful Jake Paul got his face broke because, I'm thinking in the 5th round, I'm thinking, really, AJ, are you really just not going to let your hands go and just, come uncunted here for a second? Because I think they're so afraid of missing big, like, and looking bad. Like I was
AJ, like AJ did load up that right hand and did miss, did hit air. For a couple of his punches he swung, he missed. And have you ever seen AJ miss that bad? Yeah, even against Usyk, did he miss that bad?
But I think Usyk was more in range. Usyk was in there to fight, not survive. There's a difference between not even worrying about a counterpunch. Like, I'm just fucking running. I'm running. And that's what he did. That's why I can't give this dude no respect, because he fucking ran for his life. For his life, Kyle.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked.
That's not boxing. That's not boxing. When you go in there, I've seen Mickey Ward go back foot. I've seen Mickey Ward fight back foot. I've seen Hagler fight negative. Versus people will fight negative and move out of the way, but they're not in there running for their life. I call him Jake Skull. That's what it reminded me of, Jake Skull. But he kept falling down.
I've even heard people say that Jake Paul is a legitimate boxer. Like, he's not a legitimate boxer. People.
I have too, Kyle. People giving him props. I'm like, what the fuck world are we living in? Imagine if this dude would have won. It would have been over. I wouldn't be talking boxing no more. I give you my word. I'm just talking that day. Like, I'm done with it, because it would be like, I wouldn't be able to even listen to anybody say, Jake Paul will beat Usyk. He's one of the greatest ever. He beat Tyson. He beat Mike Tyson. Now he beat Anthony Joshua. He's the best fighter ever. He'd kill Marciano. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have beat a prime Mike Tyson. Yeah. Thank God that happened, Kyle. I got to get going too. But yeah, thank God that.
Yeah. No worries, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up also. So I want to thank Carl. I want to thank Mad Chad, YTB Legend. We were just talking about the Jake Paul era. Is it over? I think it's over. Even if he comes back, it'll be a while, right? So let's get some shots out. Timmy, thank you. Solo Dolo, Technique, More BC, King KO, The Gray, Eric Gomez, Diaper Dandy, Jim Smith, Everybody in the building, Impala, thank you. I want to thank everybody. Hit the like on your way out. Boxing's gonna be slow, man. We just got Inui at the end, right? Inui at the end. The boxing kangaroo, thank you, Peas, exactly. Inui, Picasso at the end, and then boxing's gonna be dry, guys, until the end of January. So a few weeks it'll be dry, but you know there'll be rumors and news. Eric Gomez, thank you, salute. Hit the like, guys. Yeah, man, is the Jake Paul era over? And if he comes back in a year or two, will anybody care? So with that, man, we're gonna bounce. Peace. Thank Bay Frank Boxing. Boxing will never leave you. Lord Chilaquiles. We're out.